Okay, class, welcome back. And uh, in this lecture, I'll be talking about how to actually conduct a literature review. So we have talked about some backgrounds about importance of literature review, some advantages, why we do literature review, and in which part of your research phase can your literature review help you. So now I'll be talking about how we are going to be actually conducting a literature. So before that, let's talk about some of the what are the types of literature review. So the foremost or the most common one, which when we're talking about literature review, that means we're talking about content analysis. That content review is basically we're talking about what sort of uh, content is available, and we analyze that content, that what sort of literature research has been done on this topic, but uh, and we do an in-depth review of that particular papers as well. So that is called content analysis. And one is called systematic reviews. So in systematic reviews, you basically follow a process in which you are conducting a research. I remember in disaster management course we gave you a Prisma analysis, right? Prisma research framework. So that is a kind of systematic review. So you follow a step-by-step procedure to extract the relevant literature. Then is your meta-analysis reviews. That is a review paper, basically, which type of review in which you are actually conducting analysis of the analysis already conducted. So you're doing analysis of analysis. That what sort of paper have used which kind of technique to analyze these certain things, and you are basically conducting review of different types of analysis. So that is meta-analysis, and other is bibliometric or bibliometric, yes, and review in which we are talking about uh, what sort of research is already published in terms of particular keywords, maybe. So let me tell you in detail. Next slide. So different types we call it. Some people also use construct some kind of map, feature map or concept map, some kind of a loose framework. So that really helps you in collecting the data. So yeah, so content analysis is basically just browse some contents even. And okay, this sort of research has done. You just browse through the contents of the paper, maybe of the thesis, and then you know, okay, this type of review is already been conducted. So that is a content is now the making a flow chart. Okay, these are my keywords, and thus I need to do analysis of that. I need to do literature review of that thing. I need to do threads. I need to do this and that. So kind of a loose framework for that. So that helps you out. Creating this literature map I was talking about, that you make a type of you make a conceptual framework basically, and you try to analyze that what certain things are linked to another thing. So conceptual framework and certain thematic areas in which certain things are connected with sub components. So dimensions, maybe you can play around with it. Maybe indicators you can add into it. So maybe you can find this kind of map. So every student have their own technique. Then is your keyword mapping of bibliometric, that a certain word of urban heat island is, if the word urban heat island is used, then what sort of recurrent keywords are also available, which is also simultaneously used with this concept. So you are talking about urban heat island effect. We are talking about urban climate, urban planning, land surface temperature, local climate zones, remote sensing, urban morphology. So when a research is being published on urban heat island, they're also mentioning these keywords as well. So you can say, oh, okay, this means that if I'm doing a literature review on urban heat island effect, then I must also know about local climatic zone. I must also know about urban climate. I must also know about urban morphology. What is that, and what is land surface temperature? And maybe that can really help you out in uh, uh, kind of creating your own literature review. Okay, these are the concepts I need to review in my thesis. So that really helps you out. Okay, and then you're finding now what? How do you find the research articles? Some of you might have already done some kind of literature review in your analysis, and most of you are the current generation in which you are very much knowledgeable about how to research something. So you know Google, the basic go to search engine in which you use to analyze, to access something. Okay. Now, in research uh, phase, when you're doing you're searching for the research articles, there are some databases already available, right? So you need to know about the one which particular database you're going to be uh, and like extracting the data from the particular database. You need to be sure about that, and what sort of keywords you're going to be using. Certain changing keywords will give you different research articles. So you need to know about this keywords as well. And sometimes people, what students do is, and I also say sometimes that sometimes read or review those articles which are highly cited. So that means if certain articles are highly cited, that means that it is a very good article. So you can judge quality from that as well. You need to identify some key authors who have researched on this particular research topic. So with when you're doing research article, certain names will be recurring. So you'll see that okay, author has written a paper like this as well. Oh, he is also co-authored as in this paper as well. Oh, okay, he's a third, fourth author in this paper as well. And these all three papers are related to my articles, are related to my topic. So you say, okay, this is a very influential key author, which is doing research in my area, my expertise. So you try to identify the key authors, and you'll with time you will see that certain authors' names will come up again and again. So you can easily judge that okay, this is the key author. I should follow the research of this key author. Okay, now reading a research paper. So you have already having some different assignments on how to read a research paper, and that is an important part. And so again, every student has its own way of reading a paper or researching a paper. So generally, the most read parts are the title abstract or the paper headings, followed by maybe the figures or tables. So that is the first thing which people read. Okay, then some people start looking for introduction to identify why they're doing the research, what are the objectives of this research, right? And then you might also see that okay, they have also written a literature review art section in the paper, and just read it, and sometimes that will also give you very good references for your search material as well. So if you are unsure about what sort of paper you should read, maybe extract some two very good papers and then read their literature review, and they will give you some papers. They've already cited those papers in the research, so it will be easier to track down relevant papers. So you can browse the literature review section as well, and then maybe you go for the what are the final findings of it. And if you're then again, once you get hang of reading a paper, then next time if you want to go back to the paper, you can easily browse uh, browse through it quickly and maybe reach to the relevant thing you want to extract from. So some people use highlighters, some people underline it, some people just can easily, because in papers you can easily know that okay, in the end of objectives or introduction section you can find the objective. In the method section you can find the methods. So what I suggest my students is that if you're searching for a research topic, then title and abstract is enough. And once you're in literature review phase, you're writing a literature paper, let's say literature review portion of your thesis, then you need to read the literature review sections in the papers. And once you are defining your methodology, then you need to just read the methods of the research paper. So they are very research paper is very organized, very systematic. So you know that where is the methodology section. So when you're defining your methodology, you just open a particular paper and you say, okay, this is the methodology which this person or this author has used. Maybe I can use this methodology, or maybe I can base my methodology on the research published research. Okay, so that's right there. So when you're analyzing it, when you're finding, maybe when you're concluding your paper, concluding your research thesis, then you also need to sometimes read the conclusion of the research published paper. that will give you some ideas that how can it really help you conclude your own research, because published research, you can then start comparing it that, okay, the research published by Rana was like this and my research is like this. So you're concluding everything. Okay, now this databases. Most of you might have know about it. If or not, then these are some of the very widely accepted databases. So they are Web of Science is there, Scopus, ScienceDirect, uh, SpringerLink, Google Scholar. So maybe you can find one. There are other publishers as well who are uh, uh, having their own database. So I usually use Web of Science or Scopus to find out literature review. So those are the two most authentic or most widely used databases for researching scientific articles. But Google Scholar is very easy also because it's very easy. You're, as a student, I know that you are very much familiar with the interface of Google. So most of the students also use Google Scholar. I also use Google Scholar because it's very quick to retrieve research results. But the most authentic are Scopus and Web of Science. Feel free to ask question if you're not understanding anything. Feel free. Okay. Now the keywords. Okay, now keywords are also very important. It will really change the result outputs. So what are the results retrieved basically? So choosing of keywords is very important. So sustainability will give you different results, and sustainable will give you different words. So you need to be sure about that. So individual words, phrases, or concepts, these are important. You should use those in your research, in your query when you're researching in those particular databases. Uh, okay, so selecting keywords is important. So it also all depends upon that what sort of keywords you have already identified. So you need to be clear about that and maybe play with some of them so you can find different articles or research as well. So you need to redefine your keywords as well. So yes, anyone feel having felt that, experienced this? So one of the most one of the is database is Web of Science. You can research on that, search on that. Yeah. So there are options of topic. For example, it's given. Let me see if it's working. I'll try to. I'll show you direct website. Okay. So can you see the web page, students?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So this is basically it's databases. So there are many different databases. So I stick with the Web of Science core collection database. So you can like search different uh, using some different keywords, right? There are three options that you can search on topic. Topic includes your title, abstract, keywords, and author keyword and keyword plus. That is the database itself identified keyword. So usually go for the topic. So if the word you're going to be is available in a title of a paper, abstract of a paper, or is suggested as an author keyword, they will retrieve you that result. So I will give an example of sustainable. Okay, let's talk about sustainable and tourism. Search it. It's working. So it has retrieved the results of 11,915 which that word sustainable or tourism is available as the title of the paper or abstract of the paper, or is suggested as a keyword. So that is there. So that is one way of doing research, of retrieving your results. Let's go back to the presentation and then maybe get more knowledge. The topic is basically, it includes your title, your abstract, and your keywords. The topic. So I always use topic in your website. Okay, another word is using of different words. Like I was talking about sustainable, right? Sustainable and sustainability. So I want to search about sustainable, but also maybe sustainability as well. So I will use this. Asterisk basically tells you that any words, any alphabet repeated after this. So it will all use the word sustainability, sustainable. It will also use these two words as well. So it will now, of course, you will have more results, right? 4, 5, 7. If I use only sustainability, my results are less. Okay. If I use the word sustainable, my research are 300,000. Okay. So what this asterisk does is basically it merges the word sustainable and sustainability. So it will give you around 400,000, 400,000 research articles. So you need to be clear about what type of words you're using. So going back to the presentation here. So asterisk is basically tells you that lot of words or alphabets which can be repeated after that. So we use this word. So this is very important when you're using multiple types of researches. When you're doing using many types of words are applicable to your research, then you need to put asterisk mark. Okay, and this question mark here also I have rarely used it, but it used to maybe replace only one alphabet from within a word. Okay, and this $sign, it is basically gives you retrieves you a lecture which can be 0 or can be more. So it's kind of a very much near to the asterisk. But asterisk symbol you will be mostly using it. And I'm hopefully yes, and also I'm hopeful that you are also know about the Boolean operators in which you use word and or not. So those are automatically used in the research as well. So maybe I want to write sustainability and urban, but not would say there is no word. I would say. So it will only retrieve the results which are related to urban but not rural. So if any paper is mentioning the word rural in it, that is automatically deleted from the result research. That is not retrieved. So that not function omits, or I would say it. Giving example of this, if I use and, that it will also only retrieve papers which have used these words. So very less number of words. Yes, yes, yes is one. You have raised your hand first. Yes is one.
सर मैंने पूछा था कि ये जो ऑपरेटर्स हैं ये सिर्फ वेब ऑफ साइंस के लिए ही हैं या बाकी के लिए भी यूज हो जाते हैं?
Yes, your question. It is also applicable for Google Scholar as well as Scopus as well. But I have not yet used for the other databases because I only use Scopus and Web of Science. So I've used that in Also in Google Scholar, it works. It is basically to justify selection of your retrieve results. So it is very important. Sometimes lot of material, sometimes you get more results, sometimes you get very less results. So these operators will help you in enlarging your samples, enlarging your number of results, or also can reduce your number of results if you want. Yes, Alia, please.
सर मैंने पूछना था कि ये जो स्कोपस और वेब ऑफ साइंस है इस पे जो आर्टिकल्स होते हैं ये फ्री होते हैं एक्सेस इनका?
Okay, your Web of Science and Scopus, first of all, that is also you need to register by on campus, or maybe you need to use your university network basically. So assess these databases. You cannot access from outside the databases. Maybe Scopus has provided off-site accessibility, but not Web of Science right now. But okay, you need to register for yourself, and then maybe they can give you an outside access as well. Okay, the second point is that the papers which they retrieve. Okay, let me open Web of Science. Okay, it all depends upon the data. These journals, it will refer you to this. For if you have, for example, you click full text from publisher, it will just give you direction to a particular paper. It will just give you link. Now it's the university. Do they have access to this paper or not? Like this, for example, this paper I have opened. You have institutional access. Like NUST or Pakistan, HEC has paid huge amounts to make this journal available to us students or the teachers, the academy. Okay, so it all depends. Some of papers will not be accessible, well, some of will be accessible. So it all depends upon the journal, not the database. The database will give you all the results, but not the full PDFs. Am I clear, Swalia?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so we've gone through operators. Okay, so sometimes you need to do research, and sometimes you need to put quotation marks as well. So what quotation marks does is that it treats this whole words, a set of words into one as a word. Let me give you example. If I use resilient environment, so it will treat these two words separate. So it will also retrieve the words of resilient as well as environment. But I want to only search words which have used the word these two words together. I put quotation marks. So here it will be very less number, probably. Yes, 18. Only 18 papers have used the word resilient environment. Or I would say resilient development is the better word. If I use quotation mark, a paper who have consistently, they have used the word resilient development together, it is searched as one word. So quotation marks is used for that. But if I remove the word resilient development, it will search resilient as a separate and development as a separate word. So different results. So sometimes quotation marks are used to link the concepts. For example, sustainable development goals. So that is one concept, and these are all together, work together. Okay, I search that. So sustainable, only those results will be retrieved which have used the word sustainable development goals together in the title or in the abstract or as a keyword. But if I don't use quotation marks, it will consider sustainable different, development different, and goals different. So it will give you more results, sustainable different result, development different results. Clear? So quotation marks are also used. Finding results. Okay. Then is your resigning results. Okay, I'll go into that again from the presentation. Okay, this is the option of refining your results. Okay, maybe you need to only check papers. Let me go back and stick with the word goals. I would say I will use the word. Okay. So I've used the word sustainable development and urban. Okay, now it tells me that they have released 9,000 words, 9,000 articles. So 9,000 results. So I need to now refine it. So there are options that maybe the computer database has some highly cited papers, some open access papers are there. So if, like Salia said, that do we have access to those papers? So maybe you can just click open access and it will only give you paper which now you have access, full access. Okay, maybe and you need to define the up to what sort of year you need to put. So if your teachers uh, tell that okay, just give me results of past 20 years, then maybe you can just refine. Okay, maybe from 20, I will just exclude this one. I'll do the past 10, 11 years. Okay, I'll exclude this. So now they have my papers have reduced to 8,000. Then maybe which sort of category I'm using. Okay, I'm only want papers which are published on in urban planning journals. So maybe you can say, okay, urban studies journal. This is a very good journal. Okay, this is the categories basically. Okay, I only want from this field. They define. So only these out of these. Now these are articles. Do you want articles, conference papers, book chapters, editorials, or review papers? You have also option of limiting to, okay, I will say only articles. You define. Now you're reduced to 888. Okay, articles I want only. Which university you want? Okay, let's leave it like that. Now these are the persons, the key authors that on this using this keyword. These are the most influential authors who have published nine papers on this particular topic. So you can also find key authors from this as well. Funding agency, okay, you don't need to concern yourself with that. So you can play around with these refine result option, and maybe you can find different results. And let's one more thing. Let's go for the analyze results command. And now what it's saying is it's telling you on this particular topic. I'll go to publication years. These many papers have been published over the years, like 113 2020, 137 papers. So this will give you an evolution of temporal evolution of this particular topic, sustainable development and urban. So these are, you can say, okay, then you can say, okay, I would say source titles. Which journal, this city's journal has published most of it, 84 papers. Then this is Habitat International Sustainable Development Landscape Urban Planning, Local Environment, journal of this, and this. So these journal, so maybe you are writing a research paper on this sustainable urban development, and you need to now find which journal you should target to publish your paper in. Right? You've written a research article. Now you want to publish it. You want to submit it somewhere. So you are unsure where to submit it. Then maybe you can just see that okay, cities is the journal which publish most papers on this topic. So maybe you can also submit your paper in this journal. Let's go back to the presentation. Maybe funding agency if you need for that. Okay, any question till now? Any question about how to do this, how to retrieve papers? Okay, let me also go to the Scopus as well. Scopus is there. Yes, so Scopus is there. You can also search on Scopus as well. This is interface of Scopus. So you can just play around with them, and you'll start knowing what to search and what not to search. Any question now, please? In class, if you have any question. No question? Okay. So okay, then class, if you don't have any question, then I'm quite up for today. Let's stop the recording. Yes, Rizwan, you have a question?
हाँ सर, मैंने सर ये पूछा था कि ये जो स्कोपस और वेब ऑफ साइंस की जो हैं वेबसाइट्स वगैरह, तो अब जो जिन्होंने पब्लिश करना होता है तो वो भी इधर ही कांटेक्ट करते हैं इनसे, जो पीयर वाला सीन जो
No. You as an author, you need to publish in the journal. Now it's journal editorials or journal company which index in this databases. If you publish in a journal, it will your paper will automatically be added to the database. That's like, okay, let me say if I start with the authors, and they automatically create your own profiles. So for example, they have already, based on my email and my affiliation, they have already categorized this. I have also published it as an AIT with affiliation of AIT as well as also with NUST. So they've already, also based on my email address, they've already categorized as well. So whatever you publish, they will automatically categorize it as well, like this. So this was like, so this is basically your results. Your paper result will be automatically categorized in the database. You don't need to categorize by yourself. Was this your question?
Exactly, sir. ये समझ गया मैं. Exactly.
Okay. So it automatically categorizes everything. You don't need to publish. So Web of Science will have separate profile for me. Scopus will have separate. Google Scholar will have a separate profile for me. Yes. Any other question, class? Okay, I'll stop the recording.